Hey guys, welcome in to Tuesday. This is the Outspoken Sportscast here, the host Brian. We got the Week 14 NFL scores and recap for you. How well did I do predicting these games this week, and much, much more here with Tuesday Talks with Brian. So, welcome in. It was an interesting week this week. I was 12-4 my predictions, getting back on track in the winning ways. Speaking of winning ways, Green Bay back to the number one seed. We'll jump into that in a second here, going through this episode. But what an interesting week this was. Now, let's go ahead and jump into it. Thursday's night's game, Minnesota versus the Steelers. And I projected Minnesota to win this game, and I was right. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate that Minnesota won, me being a Green Bay fan and everything. They were up by 29-0 at one point in this game. Steelers come all the way back. They make it interesting. There was some craziness, okay? Claypool, the Steelers are driving down to try and to tie this football game to go to overtime. And they have no timeouts. Time's running down. 4th and 2. They toss the ball across the middle to chase Claypool. And instead of getting up and hurrying up and knowing what's going on in the football game, Claypool decides to celebrate his first down. And the offensive lineman actually comes over to rip away the football. Like, you come on, fool. What are you doing? Like, we got to get this ball. The ball bounces away. It takes more time off the clock, and it actually ended up costing the Steelers a play at the end of the game where they could have won. Now, Ben did throw the ball in the end zone, and the ball was knocked loose to the wide receiver, took a hit, and the Steelers ended up losing this game. And that we saw the Steelers do this last week when they scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. They usually don't show up in the first half. And last week, they showed up in the fourth quarter and beat the Baltimore Ravens because Baltimore gave up 17 points in the fourth quarter last week. And sorry, I had to send a text real quick. But yeah, so the Steelers really they don't show up in the first quarter, in the second quarter, and sometimes even the third. You can't win ball games that way. You just can't. You can't expect to do it. And I know the Steelers are a team it's just not going to work out for them this year. Big Ben's last season, and we'll see where they go next year with a quarterback position. Speaking of Baltimore, they lose 24-22 to the Browns. They also lose Lamar Jackson in this game as he took a low hit in the ankle. This game I thought would be more interesting. The Browns dominated the first half, and they scored all 24 points in the first half. They scored nothing in the second half at all, leaving the door open for a comeback from the Baltimore Ravens. And Baltimore, with a backup quarterback, almost got it done. They scored 13 points in the fourth quarter and almost get the victory, but almost don't count in this league as the Browns pick up the victory. And this is a victory that's very important for them. It kept them in the playoff hunt. They needed this victory, and I don't trust either one of these teams. I don't think Baltimore's as good as advertised. Lamar Jackson's been struggling this season. They've had tons of injuries. They don't have any good running backs. They've all got hurt before the season started. They lost their best cornerback. So these injuries keep piling on, and we have cluster injuries like that. That's when it becomes an issue, and Lamar Jackson being off this season. So they've got to figure that out to go in the playoffs. I don't think they are a serious contender this season the way they're playing so far. But the Browns could sneak into the playoffs, and who knows what could happen if Baker Mayfield's healthy and if they get that running game going, and that defense can be pretty good. So we'll see what happens at the end of the day, at the end of the year, if they can sneak into the playoffs. How much do you trust Baltimore, guys? I don't know, but I'm not trusting them too much. I predicted Baltimore to win this game because I don't trust the Browns either, but I was wrong there. And who knows if Lamar Jackson was healthy if he stays in this game? Who knows at the end if they don't pull this one out? But the Titans and Jacksonville, this is an easy pick. Tennessee wins 20-0, and we've got to look into Jacksonville later on because what is going on there? What is going on there with Urban Meyer? Coming from college, we've known he's had his issues. We saw the pictures of him, the big scandal that took over of him not taking the team flight home and him dancing with another woman and all that crap. Well, there's rumors going around that the players are getting into fights with him. That the coaching staff doesn't like him. They're not getting along. The team says the organization keeps backing him, but I don't know what's going on. Trevor Lawrence is playing not good at all, and does he have an offensive line? The coach benches their best player because he fumbled the football the other day. He's your best weapon, Robinson, your running back, and you bench him the rest of the game. The quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, comes out and says, "We've got to have this guy on the field." Urban Meyer, I don't know. He might be a one and done there. The Jacksonville organization might be keeping a brave face on for right now, but Urban Meyer could go back to college because this is not looking very good for him. Did we expect the Jacksonville Jaguars to come in and blow people away? Or no? This is a building process, and that's what it's going to take with teams like this. I would like to see Trevor Lawrence play better. Having games where he's throwing 4 interceptions and 0 touchdowns is just not going to work. You're a better quarterback than that. Something's got to change here, and I think Urban Meyer might be one and done. I didn't expect it to be this bad, but it is, and we could see it. So I don't know whoever. Am I wrong? Am I wrong to feel that way? The way it's gone so far this year, I don't think I'm terribly off on that, but we'll see if Jacksonville keeps him around or not. Chiefs blow out the Raiders, dismantle the Raiders 48-9. I predicted the Chiefs to win. I can't trust the Raiders. They're not a team you can trust. But they're dumb. Before the game, this is a rival game, okay? Too. This is a heated rival game. They hate each other, right? The Raiders go to midfield in Kansas City and stomp all over the logo of Kansas City, and then the Chiefs stomp all over the Raiders, and it's not even a close game, 48-9. It's just embarrassing how they handle themselves to go out there. And if you're gonna go do that, if you're gonna go have the balls just to go out there and step on the other team's logo and it's like a slap in the face or a spit in the face. It's disrespectful. At least have the balls to show up during the game. He got dominated from the first snap of the game to the end. Didn't even show up. So that's just embarrassing for the Raiders. And then the season and with what happened with John Gruden and all the embarrassment on this organization, and then this team that continues to lose. They continue to have games where they'll beat good teams, and they're so inconsistent. It's just not even funny, and I feel bad for the Raiders fans. But yeah, your team had a pretty embarrassing Sunday. The Saints win. I predicted this. Not even, to me, it was an easy prediction, right? The Jets are horrible. The Saints are really trying to figure out who the quarterback is, but I had a Jets or a Saints fan on TikTok say, "I'm a Saints fan. We're not winning this game." Well, they did. Kamara had 120 yards. He came back. I don't know who really is their best wide receiver without the Thomas, and you don't know really who the quarterback's going to be. But it was not, well, Taysom Hill had 73 yards rushing. He had 175 yards passing. So, I guess not, not terrible. They found a way to win. They found a way to win. Zach Wilson not looking very good over there with the Jets. He was their leading rusher. That can't happen. Your quarterback cannot be your leading rusher and expect to win ball games. So yep, Saints won. That was an easy one for me. The Dallas Cowboys. This was a game I projected Cowboys to win. This was a game they should have won. The Cowboys scored 18 points in the first quarter. I said this game's over. Washington's not built to come back. And they didn't win. It was only 20. It was 27-20 was the final. And the Dallas Cowboys have got to be worried about Dak Prescott. They've got to be worried about him. He's not playing really well. He had 211 yards, 2 interceptions. Just looks off right now. And he's looked off the last couple games. And they've got to be worried about him going into the playoffs. I've been giving the Cowboys a lot of respect this year, and I've been saying that they are contenders. With Dak playing the way he's playing the last couple games, they're not going to win in the first round of the playoffs. You know, they might if they don't face the Rams or the Cardinals, but if they're going to face like the 49ers or someone like that, they can win. But if you got to face the Rams, if you got to face one of the top teams in the NFC, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, the Rams, the Cardinals in the first round, I don't think if Dak's playing the way he's playing right now, I don't think you're going to win. So that's got to be a worry for the Dallas Cowboys. They did win the game. They are one game away from being right there with Tampa and the Cardinals and the Packers. They're going to win their division. They basically shut the door on that. It's basically over for anybody else to win that division. So they're definitely going to make playoffs. It's not even a worry. But you want to see Dak Prescott get better. The biggest test for them is going to be when they face the Cardinals. And what team's going to show up? Is it going to be the Dallas Cowboys that are barely squeaking by and Dak Prescott's a little off? Or is it going to be the Dallas Cowboys where Dak comes out and looks like the Dak we saw in the beginning of the year, where they're scoring a lot of points and this offense looks really, really good? This defense is the reason they won this game, and this defense is playing really well. They're fully healthy now. They're able to get to the quarterback and force bad play. And Parsons, you know, last week I said the defensive player of the year was TJ Watt, and then the defensive rookie of the year was Parsons. Well, Parsons might win both because he's playing that well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that at the end of the year. But the Dallas Cowboys did win, but they got to look at Dak Prescott and be a little worried if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's his injuries keeping him from making the throws that we normally see him make and be accurate with the football. But right now they're going into play the Giants next week, which should be another win for them. Carolina and the Falcons. Cam Newton gets benched because he's garbage. That's 11 straight losses for the Panthers when Cam Newton starts. And he's done, wash. I don't know why they brought him back. I don't know why Patriots brought him back. And then, well, they ended up cutting him, so I guess it really didn't matter. They lose 29-21 to Atlanta. They brought in PJ Walker, and but they still lose. The Panthers they've got to figure out what's going on there. The Falcons are a team too where they're not contenders. So boring game. Seattle beats the brakes off of Houston 33-13. This was a close one at halftime. Seattle takes it away in the second half as the Texans don't score anything in the second half of that game. Demaryius Thomas gets honored before the game for Denver Broncos. We talked about this last week a little bit about Demaryius Thomas and all the videos and all the things that I've looked up about Demaryius Thomas. It wasn't about football. It was about the kind of guy he was off the field, the kind of guy he was when you walked into a room and he would light up the room with his smile and what a great person he was. And if you take a chance to find those videos and watch everyone's just thoughts and comments about Demaryius Thomas. The beginning of the game, the Denver Broncos got the ball. They took a delay of game penalty, but they only started with 10 players. They left the position X, which Demaryius Thomas played the position X. They left that open. They took the delay of game to honor him, and it was a special moment there in Denver. And like we said, condolences to his family. But they blow the brakes off the Detroit Lions 38-10, and the last drive of Denver to score a touchdown, they drove 88 yards, which was Demaryius Thomas's number. So kind of special there. The Chargers beat the Giants 37-21. They're getting some momentum and some rhythm going into the playoffs. You want to see that, and you want to have your team obviously win and go and look good going into it. Herbert had 3 touchdowns, 275 yards passing. The Giants continue to lose games. That's just what they do. They're not very good. I don't know what their future looks like. Maybe they can get Russell Wilson over the offseason to come there and make it interesting, but I don't know. I don't know. The Giants are not very good. Daniel Jones is not your guy. Saquon Barkley is way overhyped. He's not on the field. It doesn't matter if he's on your team. He's never healthy. That goes the same way with Christian McCaffrey. Never healthy. Not on the field. If he's not on the field, he can't help you. And they just paid him big money. So, but the Giants are in a world of hurt, and they're going to be in a world of hurt for a long while. A game that was crazy, the 49ers and Bengals game. It got to overtime. The Bengals fought back and got it to overtime, but the 49ers take this game and they win. The Bengals could have won this game and put them right up there in a good spot at the playoffs, but this loss is huge for them as they drop down, and they're fighting for that wild card spot, and the 49ers are fighting for a wild card spot too. Big win for them. They've been on a winning streak as of late. They're getting some momentum going into the playoffs. That's what you want to see. You want to see some momentum at the end of the season, so maybe you can go into the playoffs and shock somebody. The Chargers are getting that momentum. The Bengals are not. They continue to lose important games, and this is a team that didn't. I mean, the expectations weren't that high. They're the Bengals, but they have playmakers, and I'm excited to see this team build upon what they have with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and this defense it plays tough, and so I'm excited to see that. They need to bolster up that offensive line. Definitely, they need their running game is good if as long as they're healthy. If they can add a Higgins came back this game, he's a good wide receiver. He's been healthy. They got to add some more players on defense, give a little more help for that offensive line, and this team's going to be competitive. But they lost a good game, 26-23. I was able to watch the Bucks and the Bills. I woke up in time to watch this game. The Bucks were up big, and then they gave up. It was 21-point lead. Tom Brady is 106-1 in where they lead by 21 points, at least 21 points or more. The last loss he took was to the Buffalo Bills. Excuse me. So it's kind of interesting. Buffalo comes all the way back. They score 17 points in the fourth quarter to make this a good game. You could see that momentum switch in the third and the fourth quarter. The Bills kind of took over. In overtime, though, they get a little swing pass or a little crosser across the middle, and the guy takes it to the house, and the Bucks win. And fortunately, they win, and they're at 10-3. They're looking very strong. And let me tell you what, guys. I think Green Bay can beat anybody any given Sunday, but I don't want to face Tom Brady in the playoffs. I do not want to face him in the playoffs. You might, I call that smart. Okay, this guy wins and wins. I don't want to face him in the playoffs. I don't. But it might end up that way in the NFC Championship game again this next year or this season. So like it was last year, but they win that game. Buffalo continues to lose. I mean, in close games, they should have beat the Patriots. This game, they didn't show up the first half, and you can't do that and expect to win. They made it very close in the end, but at the end of the day, a loss is a loss. Finally, the Packers and Bears Sunday night. I went over to my buddy's house, Brandon. He lives down the street. He's a Bears fan. We got some wings, able to watch the game. And the first half, Bears made it interesting. I was like, okay, here's a game that the Green Bay might lose. Bears play us tough. Well, we dominated second half. I mean, completely dominated second half. We scored 24 points we scored 24 points in the second half. We put up 21 in the second quarter. We had a pick six that quarter. We looked good during this game, except the special teams. The worst special teams performance I've seen in a long while. Our special teams had gotten better this season, but this was just abysmal. They're talking about making some changes in Green Bay, and that's for special teams just because how bad this was. We muffed another onside kick. We fumbled a punt. What it was brought back because of a penalty. We let up the first punt return touchdown of the season. It was an abysmal night for the special teams. We ended up winning 45-13 or 45-30. Um, we gave up 24 points in the second quarter. Pathetic. But we shut down in the second half, and we only gave up 3 points. And Aaron Rodgers looked good. Do not mock the belt, guys. Do not mock it. Robert Quinn mocked the belt after sacking Rodgers in the first quarter, and Aaron Rodgers had a night. After that, he went threw for 341 yards, 4 touchdowns. He looked good. Um, AJ Dillon had 71 yards rushing. Adams went off for 121 yards. They shut Adams down in the beginning of the game. I was like, man, where's Devontae Adams? He hasn't been targeted. But Devontae Adams at the end of the day looked really, really well, really, really good. And so Packers win. It's a big win for us because we're back to the number 1 seed. Because the Arizona Cardinals lost last night. Thank you to the Rams. Thank you to the Rams winning. They won 30-23. This game really wasn't as close as the final score was. They did score 10 points in the fourth quarter to make it closer. But the Rams get a good win. You know, this is a team that I don't want to say underperforming because they're 9-4. It's a really good record, right? But this is a team that I thought would be winning the division. And look, they're 1 game back. But I thought this was the team to beat. And they've had some losing games where you're like, wow, they lost the game. Or, you know, a good team like that usually doesn't lose multiple games. They went on a 3-game losing streak. So this is a big win for them to give them that confidence back. I think they're kind of getting a little bit of that confidence back, and maybe they'll be beating the Cardinals for the division. We don't know. The Cardinals are 10-3 right now. The Rams are 9-4, but Green Bay is 10-3. We hold the tiebreaker against the Cardinals because we beat them, and we hold the tiebreaker against Tampa Bay because we have a better conference record than they do. So Green Bay moves into number 1, and that number 1 seed is way more important than people want to give it credit for. It's the first round bye. Now, granted, Green Bay does not play that great after a bye, but a bye in the playoffs, some rest. Aaron Rodgers' pinky toe has come back up to question whether they're going to have to do surgery. He says he's not going to miss any time, but if he has surgery or not, but you want to see him be healthy. Where are they going to go that direction? A bye week in the first round would be fantastic to have that rest. A home field advantage would be fantastic. Whether the first or second seed, you get home field advantage so you make them come to Green Bay, and that's big. I think it's like 90% of people who actually go on to win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl, they have that number 1 seed, and they have it because they're good. They have it, and they use it to their advantage. And we saw this last year. Green Bay was the number 1 seed. We did have home field, and the Tampa Bay came into Green Bay and beat us. So this year we're hoping that we can get to number 1 and hoping that obviously we go to the Super Bowl. But big job getting number 1. Now we got to keep it. I see a lot of people on fan sites, a lot of dumb Packer fans saying, "Oh, we clinched number 1. We're good." No, we didn't clinch nothing. We have 4 games left. We gotta keep winning because Bucks are right there, Cardinals are right there, and the Rams are right there. Let's face it, the Cowboys are 9-4. They're right there too. So we could see a lot of switch between the NFC. Between here and the next 4 games, the Cowboys have probably the easiest schedule going forward between all of them, and the Buccaneers schedule is pretty easy. Green Bay schedule's still pretty difficult. Actually, let me look at these real quick at the schedules to see. I know the Cowboys got to play their division, which that's easy for them. So I know they play the Cardinals coming up. Yeah, they got the Giants, they got Washington again, they got the Cardinals, they got the Eagles. So they play their whole division, and then they play the Cardinals. So that's easy. That's an easy schedule for them. Let me look up Packers schedule here real quick. We have the Ravens next week. Lamar Jackson, we found out today, they plan on him playing. He doesn't have a high ankle sprain. That'll be a tough game. Then we play the Browns. Depending on what Browns team shows up, that'll be a tough game. We play Minnesota. That'll be a tough game. And then we play the Lions. So we have a tough stretch these next 4 games. We should win, but we'll see what happens. The Bucks play the Panthers twice, I believe. Which that should be an easy win on both of them. Yeah, they got the Panthers twice. They got the Jets and the Saints. That should be 4 wins. We can see the Bucks take over that number 1 spot and go and see who wins that. But Bucks have an easy schedule. Probably even easier than the Dallas Cowboys schedule with those teams that they got to face there left. So this time of the year gets interesting with the playoffs and who's going to take over the number 1 seed. The Cardinals still have the Lions and Seattle. That those two, well, the Lions will be an easy win. They got to play the Cowboys, the Colts, and the Seattle Seahawks. That's 3 tough games. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be the number 1 seed. Now they might surprise me. They've already surprised me with being right now up there with these number 1 teams. But that's a tough schedule. Now that the Rams, they got to play Seattle. That's tough. That's a tough team. Vikings, the 49ers, and the Ravens. They have 4 tough games. This is going to be interesting, guys. This race to the finish of who wants the number 1 seed. The Cowboys have an easy schedule. The Bucks have an easy schedule. Those play favors for them. Green Bay's schedule's tough. The Cardinals' schedule's tough. And the Rams' schedule's tough to close it out. So we could see a big shift here in what's coming. But the teams that are going to this is, the teams that are going to win. Like I say, I don't want to face Tampa Bay because Tom Brady, but the road to the Super Bowl is tough. It's not easy. You got to play and you got to beat good teams to get there. So if Green Bay wants to go to the Super Bowl and we want that number 1 seed, which we obviously do, we've got to show up and win. Tough schedule or not. So there's no excuses. I'm just letting you know the schedules for all these teams left on what could come out of the NFC in the standings. And that's we're set up, guys. We're set up for some fantastic playoff games in both. I think honestly, I think the National Football Conference, the NFC here, okay, I want to get fancy there, the National Football Conference is tougher than the AFC. To me, the New England Patriots are the favorite right now. They have the number 1 defense. Mac Jones is playing well. Kansas City's coming, right? They're scoring a lot of points. They're on a 6-game winning streak. They look to be back to being contenders again. Now, I think the offense has struggled. I don't give 48 points to the Raiders. Okay, I wouldn't say your offense is back. You played the Raiders. They're not very good. So I want to see them consistently continue to win. Tennessee's still 9-4. They're playing good, I guess. I'm not a big believer in them. They'll get Derrick Henry back in the playoffs. They said he could play if he has to in week 18. If it comes down to it, he could probably step in and play. They're going to be getting him back at the end, which is good for them. So we'll see. We'll see. But I think right now, any team in the NFC could beat in the AFC. I think the NFC wins the championship this year. Whoever comes out. It's still going to be tough. You got to face Kansas City, depending on how the offense is playing. And you got New England playing really well. Their defense is number 1, like I said. Their offense is playing great. They've got a good running game going, and they got a quarterback that's not losing games. So we've got great matchups for the playoffs, and I'm interested to see in these next 4 games who finishes on top and who we see fall off. I think Baltimore might miss the playoffs. They're 8-5 right now. They're 1 game back from the top 3. They're winning their division, but they're only winning it by 1 game. Cleveland's winning. Maybe they'll win some games here. We'll see. But Baltimore's got a tough game against Green Bay, and then the Browns got a tough game the week after from Green Bay. But Baltimore, I don't trust them. I don't trust the Cleveland Browns. We'll see who wins that division. Cincinnati's fighting, so this is going to be an interesting race, guys. I know you guys are interested in it just as much as I am. So that's the recap for this last week. We've got all these games coming up are going to be great. Are going to be tough. Are going to have playoff implications going forward. So we're going to see a lot of competitiveness out there on the field and everything. So, all right, guys, I want to get into a little segment, overtime with Brian here. As if you're watching, I am streaming live on YouTube. We stream all of our episodes on YouTube, and so if you're watching this, you can see these things pop up that we're putting up here on the screen. If not, you're listening to me to the podcast. But either way, I came out with a challenge, not really a challenge, but on TikTok, I wanted to share something and make it, they do the next internet challenge or whatever. I want to know your guys' family traditions for the holidays. I like to hear everyone's traditions, and I like to start new traditions with my family. And I want you guys to share your family traditions, so that way, we can think of maybe a new tradition for our family. We can get a little, learn a little bit about you. Like my one of my family traditions is we always have sausage balls on Christmas morning. Always, always have them in the morning. And my grandma's the one that started that. And um, when we got a little older, we were able to go to grandma's house on Christmas Eve. We opened up one present on Christmas Eve, which was usually pajamas and socks and underwear. We opened up one gift, and then we helped her make the sausage balls. And it was a tradition what we did with my grandma every year. And when we got older, I always have sausage balls for breakfast on Christmas morning, always. And I continue to do that now. My mom asked me yesterday, "Hey, are we gonna have sausage balls for Christmas morning? Did the bears crap in the woods?" Yes, we're going to have sausage balls Christmas morning. It's something we will always do. Sorry, there's a fly flying around here if you hear him or see him on the cam. But just little things like that you do every single year, and I hope I have that tradition. And my girls are going to help me make them this year, and when they get older, they carry that on, and that's fantastic. Also, what we do in our household is when the Christmas tree is up and decorated, that's when our elf Gwen, the elf on the shelf, shows up. So we put up the tree, and we know that elf's going to show up when we decorate the Christmas tree for her. And so we do the elf on the shelf. It's a fantastic idea and fantastic thing to do for the kids. So share your family traditions. I want to learn some new ones. So maybe I can hear your traditions and go, oh, I'm going to try that. That sounds fantastic. Sounds like a great idea. And I also put a challenge out there last week too, to get into the Christmas spirit. And the Christmas spirit can mean different things to everybody. When I was a kid, the Christmas spirit was about everyone's a little more happier during this time of year, and you're a little bit nicer this time of year. And I believe being nice and happy whenever, but getting into the Christmas spirit, and it can be difficult. There's years where I'm like, man, it doesn't feel like Christmas. Here in Texas, it's going to be like 70 degrees, and for Christmas, it doesn't feel like Christmas weather. I want some cold weather and some snow. That doesn't happen here. So we got to find different things to make us feel like it's Christmas. I've seen so many comments on social media about I feel it's almost Christmas tonight. This is the less Christmassy I've ever felt. And That stinks. And I know, and everyone, I think a lot of people go through this a lot. Um, but I'm like, I comment on there. Well, let's change that, right? Let's change that. When I feel that way, I I'm like, okay, what can I do to make me feel more Christmassy? Get in the Christmas spirit and the holiday spirit of being nice and being extra cheery and giving people a hand and helping people out and doing things for others. And that's what really this time of year is. And um, I do those Christmassy things. I put the tree up. I decorate the house. We take the girls to go look at Christmas lights. I start watching those Christmas movies that we gotta get in before December's over. Um, I make those sausage balls. I do those little things that kind of remind me, yeah, it's Christmas and it's that time of year where I'm supposed to have be more cheery, be more happier, try and be better, try and do better, and try and help the less fortunate and give a helping hand where I can. And so I want you guys to think about that. And if you're not feeling very Christmassy because well, whether whatever reason you have to not feel that way, try and get out of it. Try and try to um, get in the Christmas spirit. Whatever you got to do it. Um, Try and make it special for you, for your loved ones, for your kids. Christmas to me now, um, is about making others happy, and it's usually about my kids, right? It's that present we put under the tree, doing Elf on the Shelf, um, Santa Claus coming, and Santa Claus came, and it's that light and them having them smile and be happy, um, and it's not really the the gifts that you give. As a kid, you when you grow up, you probably think it is, and it's what kind of gift am I going to get this year? But when you grow up and you become older and you become an adult, and Christmas is a little more than just presents under the tree. And so remember that, guys, this season. Um, Try and go out of your way to do something for others. Make some cookies for some people down the street. Um, Whatever you need to do, go volunteer your time at a homeless shelter. Do whatever what you can. Give back a little bit more this time of year for those that need it, and get in that Christmassy spirit. Um, but that is the Tuesday talk here with Brian. Overtime segment here of getting outside of sports and just um, trying to share some good back into the world here. But guys, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you guys listening to these episodes. And any feedback would be great. We would love to have some fan reaction. Um, Let us know. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you like the show. Let us know your predictions. Let us know any sports topics that you want to talk about. Any sports topics that you may want us to talk about. Let us know what you think about the playoff picture coming up in the NFL and these next 4 games and how important they are. Let us know who your favorite team is. Whatever it is you want us to know or talk about, we're here for you, and I'm here for you, sports wise and outside of in real life stuff. If you need a shoulder to cry on, you need a new friend, or whatever you need, we're here for you. You can email me out outspokensportscast@gmail.com. You can reach out on social media. We are on all social platforms: Instagram, Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are on TikTok. We are everywhere to be found. We are on Twitch. You can find our podcast on YouTube. We stream live to YouTube. We streamed live to Facebook last week on Friday, and we're gonna start streaming to both. And I'm streaming live right now to Facebook as well. But um, let us know. Let us know if you have any feedback. Let us know. But we also can find our podcast on all major platforms for podcasts: Apple, um, iHeartRadio. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. We're on Google Podcasts. Anywhere you can find a podcast, guys, we are there. Share us. Feel free to give us some feedback, guys. And it's Tuesday. We're about to get in the middle of the week. I know the middle of the week's not the best, so hopefully it comes into the weekend and we can enjoy. We got football on Saturday this week, guys. Remember, we do have NFL football on Saturday, so don't miss those games. All right, guys. Well, hope you have a good rest of your week, and God bless.